This session will be hosted by Dr. Abhijit Kundu. Abhijit sir will be talking on research and development activity and innovative project articulation practices in our institute. So now I would request Abhijit sir, please start your session.
Okay, sir. I will.
Yeah.
So good morning, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just wait 1 minute. Sir. Just wait 1 minute. I want to share the slide with you and then I want to discuss. Okay. Sir,
yes, sir. We can see your presentation. Yeah, now it is disappeared. Yeah. Yeah, now you can see. Yeah.
Okay, just wait 1 minute. I want to. Just 1 minute. Now, I think the slide is visible to you, all of you.
Yes, sir. Slides are visible. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Today's topic is R&D activity and innovative project articulation practices. Okay, I want to discuss this part. First, I want to discuss what is. So just wait 1 minute. I'm not able to understand. Okay. Research and development. What is the research and development? First, I want to discuss that part. And what is the research and development? Research and development includes the activities that companies undertake to innovate and introduce new product and services. It is often the first stage in the development process. The goal is typically to take new product and service to market and add to company's bottom line. So what is the R&D actually there? R&D means you want to launch the new things, you want to launch the new product to the market, so so that our society can be benefited, and the product obviously will be cost effective. Okay, so you have to be through the R&D section, we can launch the new product, we can provide the new services to the customer, and the customer will be benefited, and obviously the product will be cost effective. We have to be remember that part. And R&D is the outcomes of the design thinking, critical thinking, and innovation design. Again, the innovation design is also the outcome of the design thinking and critical thinking. So I want to discuss first about the design thinking, then I want to discuss about the critical thinking, and then I want to discuss the innovation design. Okay. Now, what is the design thinking? What is the design thinking? First, I want to discuss this part. Design thinking draws on logic, imagination, and systemic reasoning to explore the possibilities of what could be and to create the desired outcome that benefit the end user. That means end user, obviously the customer. Okay, suppose I want to give you one example to you, then it will be very easy to understand. Suppose first you have to be identify the problem, you have to be identify the demand of the customer, and according to that part you have to be make the prototype. If you want to make a prototype, then there will be obviously logical imagination and systemic reasoning obviously will be there. Suppose I want to give you one example to you. Suppose the blood sugar measurement. The blood sugar measurement instrument is already available in our market, and actually the blood sugar level is measured by collecting the blood sample, and it will take the long time to tell the result to the users. So if you that is the actually if you make a blood sugar instrument to measure the blood sugar level in the human body, then what is the thinking of you? They actually you have to be thinking that way. We do not collect the blood sample, and we just we use the we make a prototype. Obviously that instrument will be non-invasive, that there will be no blood collecting sample will be there. Just using that instrument we can tell the blood sugar level to the human body. Okay, and it will be take very short time to tell the result to the people. Okay, so we know that India is actually suffering in blood sugar. A lot of people are suffering in blood sugar level, blood sugar. So there is a huge demand in the market. So according to that part, you have to be thinking, you have to be design, you have to be analyze. There is a lot of processes there. I want to discuss that part one by one. Okay.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. We can only see your first slide only.
Okay.
Not the second slide. Yeah.
Just I want to share again the slide. Now this slide is visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible. Yeah.
So my previous slide was research and development, and then that is the R&D is the outcome of the design thinking, critical thinking, and the next slide. Just wait, sir, 1 minute. Now the slide is visible.
Yeah, now it is visible. You can see the design thinking. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now I want to discuss the design thinking, about the design thinking. If you want to change something from the present situation into a favored one, design thinking help you achieve this. It takes you through a process. It helps you reduce the risks by engaging the internal and external people, seeking out a new solution that solve a need, problem, or challenges. This comes through a series of prototypes to learn from, to test, and then repeatedly refine concepts to get them to the finished value adding point, taking away the issue. So first you have to be identify the problem of the society. According to that part, you have to be thinking, and you have to make the prototype. At that time, you can talk with the external people, like some expert people. You can in industry oriented, or you can talk with the another people who are already engaged in the R&D section. So that will be very helpful to you to develop the prototype and to develop your design thinking. Okay. So design thinking, there is a several process of the design thinking. Okay, I want to discuss that process. There are the several processes there. I want to discuss that process one by one. Okay. Design thinking can be highly supportive or continuously finding new meanings both to product and new services. Okay, it can help answer why the customer will buy or why they will change behavior. It can clarify and make sense of things. Okay, and it can be catalyst to bring insight and concept together. So design thinking is an approach for creative problem solution that is inspired by way designer works. So it is very important for to you, and there is a several processes there. There is a suppose some process is there, that is the NPT process is there. So what is the NPT process is there? I want to discuss that NPT process is also. Okay, NPT process is, that means in this slide, if you go through that part, this is the NPT process. NPT process means management new product development. Management new product development. So NPT can challenging job, and so it is critical to focus on what is important. Design thinking becomes a highly useful and effective collaborative strategy to identify and solve problem creatively, as it is a non-linear iterative approach that focus on user needs, including framework, formulating strategy. It's constantly addressing the direction, design, development, and encourages a fast acting learning cycle. So if you go through this process, then this is the actually NPD model. There is a loop system is there. So first you have to think the understand. First you have to be understand the problem. Actually the problem. First you have to be identify the problem. Then you have to be understand. Then you have need the market survey. And according to that part, you have to be, if you want to make a prototype, your idea, you have to be incorporated to develop the new model. Then you have to make the prototype. After making the prototype, you have to be collect the data, and then you have to be validated your system. How do you validate that system? Suppose validate system, suppose you make a prototype or you make an instrument, and then you have to be measured the some statistical parameter is there. You have to be measured the statistical parameter. According to that part, we can say that our instrument efficiency is very high. Okay, so prototype, after making the prototype, if you have you have to collect the data, then analyze the data whether this data is close to the actual result or not. That means suppose if make a prototype, but your instrument not get the not able to provide the actual result. Okay, so the testing is also required. If you want to before suppose you make a prototype, before launching this prototype into the market, so you have to test the system. Okay. Then you have to be actually make the business model to launch, to finally launch the product into the market. Okay, so there is a several processes there, and that all process are looping system to each other. Okay, if business model is also related to the test and prototype is also related to the idea, which idea we have to be incorporated to develop the system. Then it is idea, incorporation of idea is also related to the understanding and observation. Okay, so I think this part is also clear to you. Just wait 1 minute, there's a problem is there. And design thinking, sorry, and the design thinking process, there is another process is there. This process is also very important to launch the new product into the market through the design thinking process. And this process is also loop system process, and it is also related to the development, design, and direction, and all are related to the user-centered understanding. Okay, and it is the model of the is school level model. It is another model is there that is actually used to make some project into the school level. So first you have to be emphasis is required, then you have to be define the problem, then you have to be idea you have to be incorporated, then you have to be make the prototype, then you have to be test. Okay, so this is the school level model. I think this model is very simple model, and that is basically is used to develop a small project in the school level, or you can develop the new product or new project, very small new project in your third year, in your second year also. Now, another thinking is another process is there, that is a critical thinking. Critical thinking, what is the critical thinking? This is also very important. If you go through the R&D section, then first you need the design thinking, then you need the critical thinking. That means, suppose what is the critical thinking? I want to discuss this part. Critical thinking is the ability to think and logically about what to do or what to believe. Okay, so critical thinking is a method for analyzing idea, concept, or data collected to evaluate the situation from different perspectives and arrive at an unbiased optimum solution. Okay, a critical thinker can anticipate the consequence of the certain action in advance. A researcher with the competency to critically think can reflect, think independently, stay objective, problem solve. Therefore, the critical thinking requires self-actuated discipline and correction to get the step closer to solution. So please try to understand this part. Suppose you want to make a prototype, and after testing you get the some result, but your result is not actually correct. Result is not very close to the true result, actual result. Your experimental result is not close to the actual result. So you have to be modified your prototype. You have to be you need to change the design system in the prototype. So at that time you have to be thinking critically which step we have to be modified, which actually if another process you can adapt the another process to execute to develop the finally to develop the prototype. Okay, now I also want to discuss the objective of the critical thinking. What is the actual objective of the critical thinking? The objective of the critical thinking is to process product or service and not to find unnecessary fault, to ensure that the ideas or processes collapse. A mutual critical thinker can define project goal, define timelines, manage expectation, handle conflicts, and work collaboratively with a team to complete the project goal. Okay, it is more and more evident that critical thinking, even though not given its due importance in organization, is a critical competency that cannot be undetermined. So please try to understand this part. This is actually the critical thinking is required. Suppose you have an object. Obviously, when you want to design a model, then you have obviously a objective. You have some obviously time limit is there. After this time limit, we have to be launch this product into the market. Otherwise, it will be invalid. Other company or other institute will launch that product into the market, and that time your total work will be will not be useful. So that time you have to be all the project you have to be complete with the scheduled time, and you have to be thinking right way, and you have to be process. You don't have you have to be thinking the right thinking in right way, so that your total process will not be collapse. Okay, so the critical thinking is also very important to execute your project. Now, skill of critical thinking, I also want to discuss this part. The critical thinking, in the critical thinking, what are the parameters are include? The problem solving, analysis, communication, creative, open-mindedness. These are all parameters are related to the critical thinking. So firstly, we have already discussed the problem solving. You have to be some problem identify, then you have to be thinking how do you solve the actual problem. Then if it is need to help the expert, then you have to be communicate with the other person, and then you have to be make a prototype, then you have to be analyze the result, and finally you can your product, you can launch your product into the market. Okay. Now, I want to discuss about the critical thinking versus design thinking. It is also very important. What is the basic difference between the design thinking and critical thinking? Please try to understand this part. Design thinking is a process that involves stages of observation, interaction, problem formulation, solution deduction, testing, alternation, and obviously finally you have to launch that product into the market. So design thinking is actually involve the observation, problem formulation, and solution and testing, where the critical thinking is a part of every stage of the design thinking process. Please try to understand this part. So critical thinking is required, and it is very important, and it is also a part of every stages of the design thinking process. Essentially, effective design thinking cannot take place in the absence of the critical or creative thinking. So so what is the basic difference between the design thinking and critical thinking? That part is also clear to you. Now I want to discuss about the advantage of the critical thinking. This part is also very important. I also want to discuss this part here. The design thinking, first, that is the design thinking. What is the design thinking? You know that the critical thinking is an important component that comes into play at every stage of the design thinking process. Okay. Now, creative problem solving. What is the creative problem solving? Critical thinking is not just rational and based on a set of logic rules. There is a lot of room for solid creativity to play a significant role in the critical thinking process. So creative problem solution is also required. I had already discussed this part. The design thinking is also required. Then you have to be creative problem solving. Creative problem solving, suppose I want to discuss this part. I want to give you one example to you. Some Android mobile is available into the market, and the some features is not you want to incorporate the some features into your smartphone, like blood sugar level measurement, non-invasive blood sugar level measurement. So that is the actually blood sugar level measurement, that is the problem. And when you design, that is how do you solve that part, and then you make a prototype, that is a creative problem solving. So, and that solution help to you to make a prototype. Okay, and this prototype you can incorporate in the mobile. Okay, and there will be obviously reflection, objectivity, and application. Reflection will be obviously there. critical thinking promote independent and reflective thinking in the research to questions and evaluate the solution they have devised for an optimum solution. Okay, obviously we need the optimum solution. Objectivity, effective use this method ensure objectivity and therefore doesn't leave such scope for biases. And application, finally, that is the application. Critical thinking is a competency and method that is applicable in all projects, irrespective of the type of solution expected. Okay. Now, there is some disadvantage is also there. It is some advantage of the critical thinking, and there is also some disadvantage of the critical thinking. Just wait 1 minute. Disadvantage of the critical thinking: research can introduce unnecessary complexity. Obviously, you have to avoid the complexity. You have to be thinking always in a such a way so that you can make the you can solve the problem easily. Expensive researchers. Obviously, your prototype will be cost effective, so you always avoid to expensive research. Wow. Okay. Now, I want to discuss about the innovation. What is the innovation? That is totally, actually, if you go through the R&D section, if you want to walk into the R&D research and development portion, then you find first primary things. You need the design thinking, then you need the critical thinking, then you can able to go for innovation. Okay, there is a several kind of innovation is there. I want to discuss this part here. So what is the actual what is the definition of the innovation? Technological innovations are defined as new product and process and major technological modification to product and processes. And innovation is considered platform if it is introduced to the market, that is product innovation, or implemented in the production process. Innovation includes many research, technological organization, financial and commercial activities. So your research may be or innovation may be related to the new product. You can make a new product that if you provide some new technology, it may be related to the financial or it may be related to the commercial activities also. And the definition is with respect to the R&D section. I also want to discuss that part here. R&D represent only one of these activities and can take place during the various stages of innovation process. It can play not only the role of the original source of the innovation ideas, but also the role of problem solution framework, which can be turned to at any stage of the implementation. Okay, so I also want to discuss there is a several kind of innovation is there. Number one, that is the product innovation. Innovation is maybe related to the product innovation. Innovation is related to the process innovation. Innovation is related to the marketing innovation, or innovation can be related to the organization. Okay, so there are several kind of innovation is there. I also want to discuss this all type of innovation here. Now, the characteristic of the successful innovation. If you want to make your prototype, if you want to launch your prototype successfully through the research and development process, so there is some characteristic is also there. We have to follow these rules here. The systematic collection of all impulse that could lead to innovation. That means you can actually go through the market survey. Then you have to be able to understand the demand of the society, or if there is some several research paper is also available. in the net, in the Google. So if you go through that part, if you go through, it will be very helpful to you if you go through the literature review also. Ability to evaluate the possibility of the innovation idea, good teamwork, it is also required. Obviously, we need the hard work and good collaboration, good interaction, and good teamwork and friendly environment is also required. And project-based approach and ability to manage the project. Project-based approach and ability to manage project. Obviously, your innovation always related to the project base, and that will be help to you to launch the new product into the market. Okay. Type of innovation, I want to discuss this part. Type of innovation. Just wait 1 minute. Type of innovation. This slide is visible. Type of innovation.
Yes, sir, it is visible. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Type of innovation. I had already discussed this. I have already discussed this part. The product innovation, process innovation, marketing innovation, and organizational innovation. So I want to discuss this part one by one. What is the product innovation? What is the process innovation? What is the marketing innovation? And what is the organizational innovation? This part I also want to discuss here. A good product or service. What is the product innovation is actual? Please try to understand this part. A good or service that is new or significantly improved. This includes significant improvement in technical specifications, component and material, software in the product, user friendly. Obviously, it will be user friendly and it will be cost effective. So product innovation is there. Some you can make some materials which is not available into the market, and you can make the software which is helpful to the society, and you can obviously make some technical specification. Some product is available into the market, but if you go through that product, then you see that the product is not up to the mark. So if you go through the some MP3 or some mobile, there is some features is not available. If you want to add some features in the existing mobile systems, then you go you can do that part, and that is related to the product innovation. Okay. And process innovation, a newly or significantly improved production or delivery method. This includes significant change in techniques, equipments, or software. Okay. And there is also marketing innovation is there. A new marketing method involves significant changes in product design and packaging, product placement, product promotion, or pricing. Organizational innovation, there is an organizational innovation is there also. A new organizational method in business practices, workplace, organizational or external relations. That is also related to the organizational innovation. Some institute, actually, if you go through the educational institute, if you go through the premium institute, then you see that some new teaching learning method adopted so that the student can able to understand everything easily. Okay. Our institute also adopt the new new teaching learning method, so you will be also helpful through that method. Now, degree of novelty. What is the novelty? I want to discuss this part. Suppose a mobile is available into the market. Now you launch again a new Android mobile, okay, into the market. So so the price is same, but what will be happen? If your mobile is new into the market, they cannot sell your mobile. Sells your mobile. So if you want to increase your selling portion of your mobile, then you have to be obviously include the new features into the mobile. Okay, and that is also that's when there is a novelty will be there. That means that is the novelty will be there. And there is a several kind of novelty is there. I want to discuss this part. Incremental innovation, radical innovation, and systemic innovation. So how do you actually incorporate the novelty into the system? And that system can be divided in three categories. Number one is the incremental innovations. Number two is the radical innovation, and number three is the systemic innovations. Now, the classification of this innovation I want to describe here. The incremental innovation. What is the incremental innovation here? New series of car, planes, or computer, TV, improvement of the component. That means what is the improvement of the component? If you go through the earlier TV system, then you then if you compare with the modern TV system, then you see there is a lot of difference in between there. So that means your TV system you can improve to incorporate the new things, new idea, new component into the existing system, and that is actually the incremental innovation. The TV is already exists in the market, but if you want to modify, if you want to improve, if you want to incorporate some features into the TV system, then that is called the incremental innovation. Okay, then I want to discuss the radical innovation. It is very, very important. The system engine, biotechnology, nanotechnology, these are all related to the radical innovation. So radical innovation, I want to discuss some that if you go to the market, then you see there is a different kind of semiconductor material is available. Silicon, germanium, is there. Now, newly, if you go through the market, then you see the graphene material have already launched into the market, where the conductivity and mobility of the system is very material is very high, and that material can be used for different kind of electronic device, where the efficiency of the electronic devices can be increased. So this is the new material. So this is actually the radical innovation. Okay, so I think what is the radical innovation, that part is also clear to you. Now I want to discuss about the systematic innovation. Systematic innovation, what is a systematic innovation is there? New component for existing system. Suppose there is a MP3 is there. Now if you want to add some features into the MP3 to improve the quality of that MP3, that is the systematic innovation. Okay, so I think this part is clear. And what to do? Start with analysis. And study opportunities. Go among people and ask question. And there is some process is there. You can follow this process, that your innovations will be effective. And what to avoid? Don't try to clever. All that is too will be the almost the clarity go wrong. So do not try to be clever. Your innovation, please try your instrument is not up to the mark, your efficiency, but you so that the efficiency is 80%, 90%. Please don't do that. Then it will be just your prototype will not be effective to launch the market, and demand will be reduced. Okay, don't try to many things at once. Don't do this. Don't try to make the innovation for future, but for today. Okay, so I think this all part is clear to you. So if you go through the project work, so you have to be thinking about this in this way, so so that you can execute your project very easily. And there in your BTech level project, there is a two project is there, minor and major project is there. Minor project is related to your 3rd and 4th sem, and major project is related to your 7th and 8th sem. So I am requesting all of you, you are the new the student, so I think you can do something for your society. And the I also want to inform you that our college is also there is we have already executed the 2 project that has been sponsored by the AICT, and we have already executed that project from our department. Okay, and so thank you all of you. So if you have any question or doubt, please tell me. Have you any question or doubt, anyone? Anyone having any question?
This is a very important talk for all of us, because all of you are going to be engineers. So project articulation and project preparation is all these are very important thing. So हम लोग अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो हम लोग जरूर पूछेंगे सर को. कोई डाउट है, कोई कमेंट है? If you have any kind of question, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask it directly.
And I think there is a time is very short, so I do not want to discuss how do you write your report, project report or something like that. I will share that part I will send that part to the Dr. Tarasankar sir, and Tarasankar sir will share that part with you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, details thing will be discussed later, but from that presentation, if you have any direct quick question, then you can ask. Just quick question, 1 or 2, maybe we can address. किसी को कोई question है तो पूछ सकते हैं. Anyone?
Anyone
Okay.
have any question? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you.
Yeah, if you don't have any question, then let's thank Dr. Abhijit Kundu sir for such a informative and nice presentation of the project. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your presentation. We have
Thank you, sir.
from this presentation. So, yeah, Virendra, yeah. Okay. So I think no more question. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fine. So with that, let's move to our next part of our session. In the next part,